this, I know there's a lot of politics and heartstrings that are trying to be pulled on this bill, but I think to its core, it's about property rights and folks in my district who feel like they're being dishonored and not at a minimum noticed. And you will hear that come up in testimony, especially around conservation districts. There's a financial component to this as well, and that will be addressed in testimony. So if you have any questions, please go ahead. I have heard that the proponents would like the opponents to go first.
Okay, Representative Creel, we will be alternating pro and cons. Welcome, Mr. Commissioner. If you would identify yourself and let us know who you represent, and then go ahead with your testimony.
I am Rod Bachenfeld. I am a commissioner in Arapahoe County, and I am representing, I'm wearing two hats this evening. I'm representing Colorado Counties Incorporated and Arapahoe County government. I get numerous calls and inquiries from constituents in the eastern rural part of the county. They many times see vehicles with cages, sometimes with prairie dogs. You know, when we see these trucks and these cages in the relocation, we don't know if they're from out of county because there's no place for us to check. We don't know if they are in county, if the Department of Wildlife has been notified. Our Sheriff's Department refuses to do anything because there's no law being broken, and they don't have any indication that there is or isn't a law being broken.
What's your sense of how often this might happen, and if it is a problem for the county?
It's kind of difficult to measure how often. I would say that I probably get reports once or twice every 3 months. And it's usually if I'm in a particular event, one of my ranchers will approach me. One evening my wife came home and followed a truck full of caged prairie dogs on the way home, and we had a discussion about getting a license plate so I can try to figure out what's going on, where they're coming from, if they're permitted, and she didn't have it.
Welcome. If you could introduce yourself, let us know who you represent, if anybody, and then go ahead with your testimony.
Tom Thompson. I sit on the Eastern Adams County Soil Conservation Committee. I'm also a rancher and farmer in Eastern Adams and Arapahoe County. There is no shortage of prairie dogs. We have plenty. I personally spend a lot of money on my own ground to control them. And it is a hardship for us when people bring prairie dogs out and release them. We are when somebody brings prairie dogs out and releases them, they're releasing a problem on us that we have to deal with. And it's well, it's not fair to the people that live.
My name is Scott Sauer. You did have it correct. I am here representing Eastern Colorado landowners. I am also here representing the organic industry, being that I am an organic farmer. I am also the face, the neighbor of a relocation of the site where this all stemmed from. By the way, one of my jobs is to relocate prairie dogs. I said, oh, well, that's a little bit hard for us to take because we do have plenty of them out there. And it's something that we face on a daily basis on the way to control these things. He was able to relocate these things without us even having a say. And it really makes it hard being an organic farmer because it is in the realm of where my farm is located. I don't know how familiar everybody is with organic standards. We're very limited on our control method in prairie dogs. If we get prairie dogs coming into my organic farm, my methods of control are ultimately limited, and we may have to use unapproved organic substances, which would therefore kick me out of your organic program for 3 years. You do 5 prairie dogs, which ironically enough, to this date I can look out my window and with binos and see them, and there are none left.
So the prairie dogs that aren't there anymore, did they die or did they
That's a
live,
good
or-
question. There's no way to prove that. You know, ultimately some probably ran off. Ultimately some dead on the road. I do know those. I can see those. There's no tagging devices or anything, so we really have no idea whether they went and joined the 5-mile prairie dog town that's within a mile of this relocation. This prairie dog town is just immense. It's 5 miles long at least by anywhere from 100 yards to a half-mile wide. We have no way to know that, and I can't ask them if they are from the city. You know, the money's there. Ultimately, there's lots of money that floats around the prairie dog relocations.
Or if you could introduce yourself and let us know if you're representing anyone, and then go ahead with your testimony.
My name is Barbara Freoff, and I represent myself as a concerned farmer. This bill, as I feel, addresses the relocation of prairie dogs and most importantly, the preservation of declining agricultural land in the state. They were being placed where their lifestyles cause havoc and destruction. They are impossible to confine. Their burrows can be 10 foot apart, 14 feet deep, and tunnel out as far as 100 feet. A male prairie dog can have 4 wives, and each wife can have up to 4 pups at a time. Unlike humans, these pups, when grown, must leave the nest and are capable of traveling 16 miles to establish their own home. You can start to see why this is an important statute or thing for farm, in a farming community and for people to know.
Are you saying that you're losing this much land to prairie dogs?
Not to prairie dogs alone, but to other
It's
sources.
like development or something like
Yes,
that?
and I think this bill will help keep, I don't know how to say it.
Chair, in terms of quantifying the damage to your property, have you had any appraisals done on your property or received any guidance in terms of any diminution in value of your property due to the prairie dogs being adjacent to your farm?
Ms. Rehab?
I personally do not have any prairie dogs on the property.
Yourself and let us know if you're representing anyone, and then go ahead with your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Julie Eberts, and we have a small family farm in eastern Adams County. What we don't need is more prairie dogs. You can see the effects. It's hard to imagine that they're endangered because they are very reproductive.
Any input that you've received from an appraiser or someone who could articulate the diminished value, if any, to your property due to prairie dogs?
Ms. Ebert?
I do not have any of that information.
If you could give us your name and let us know if you're representing anyone, and then go ahead with your testimony.
Hi, my name is Shannon Kelly, and I'm representing myself. I'm not a landowner. I'd just like to have when the prairie dogs was brought out and dumped in our neck of the woods, we had no notification that anybody was bringing any prairie dogs out.
Let us know if you're representing anyone, and then go ahead with your testimony.
Okay, thank you. I'm Cynthia Ness, and I'm from Byers. I am not, or I am representing myself. This bill it helps with the anti-agriculture, because I feel like that's where we're at. It's anti-personal, or it's against personal property, but this bill would help that. when people relocate prairie dogs, and they do relocate, we have prairie dogs out there, I've driven by them, I've gone out to my pasture, and they are standing there. The wild ones, the ones that we're used to, they will go down their holes. The ones that are from town that have been relocated, they're not going down their holes, they're just standing there. They're not afraid of us, so I know that they are from town. I had recently a neighbor who had a registered bull that did step in one of the holes and it broke its leg, and that bull had to be destroyed. I'm not sure of the cost of that bull, but it was registered, so it was probably quite a bit.